Hello everyone, welcome to a Tim Talk where I share my thoughts, opinions, and philosophies as someone who has been doing model aviation for over a decade and as someone who is a mechanical engineer. So in my previous video, which was a freestyle video, I had someone comment and say something along the lines of, nice flight, but it would look a lot better and more buttery if you used video stabilization. So in this video, I'm going to be giving my opinions on digital video stabilization, such as HyperSmooth and ReelSteady Go, and this is my opinion. So if you disagree, that's totally fine. Let me know what you think about digital video stabilization down in the comments below. So for me, I kind of have two different opinions for two different applications. The first application is cinematic flying, where you essentially just care about the final product, the final shot, looking at some subject or whatever. And for that, I think digital video stabilization is a great tool. It can get rid of any pilot errors, any excessive movements, and just smooth out the footage so that you can really just focus on the subject, which is what you care about for more cinematic shots. Now, in my opinion, digital video stabilization is not an ideal solution because to digitally stabilize a video, you always have to crop the video, which means you lose pixels, you lose resolution. So the ideal situation is either you can fly so smooth that you don't need stabilization, or you can use some kind of mechanical stabilization, whether that be built into the camera or some kind of gimbal setup. However, if you don't have those things, digital video stabilization still is a great way to make your shots smoother and to focus on that subject. Now, my second differing opinion is with freestyle flying. And I think this is where more of the controversy is in the FPV drone community. So for me personally, when I watch a freestyle video, there are kind of two things that I'm looking for that entertain me or impress me, and that is the pilot's skill, whether that be just flying fast with a lot of precision, hitting gaps, things like that. And then the second thing is the emotional or artistic aspect, because a really good pilot not only can just show off, but they can also make you feel something with their movements if they're really good and they match it to a good soundtrack. So in my opinion, digital video stabilization ruins both of these things. So in terms of just that raw pilot skill, using video stabilization kind of just covers a lot of mistakes. So it can make it harder to tell if the pilot is good or bad. But in all honesty, video stabilization will make a good pilot look better and a bad pilot still look bad. The real problem I have comes with the second part, which is the artistic aspect, the emotional aspect, which is really what freestyle is about, in my opinion, because it's freestyle, it's an expression. So my problem with video stabilization is that if you're a good pilot, you are pointing the camera very deliberately to either show off or to convey emotion or whatever. And with video stabilization, the image always kind of lags behind the camera. If you do a fast roll or something, it just smooths it out and it just makes it look weird, especially if you're doing like a rewind move or any kind of deliberately snappy move. The stabilization just makes it weak sauce and it just takes the impact out of that move. So in my opinion, when you have a really good pilot and then you just throw HyperSmooth on top of their flying, it just kind of smooths everything out, makes it more bland, makes everything more generic and even, where what you really want is to see all those nuances, all those snappy movements contrasted against the flowy movements, which can really give you that impact and that emotional aspect of the freestyle flying. Now, you could make the argument for maybe a newer pilot who can't just point the camera where they want to point it all the time, that it helps their flying look better. And my response to that is, if you want your flying to look better, you should just become a better pilot. Put in the time, put in the effort. And one of the things you should be doing to help yourself become a better pilot is to review your flight footage. This is something that really helped me out a lot when I was a noob pilot, was watching my footage, because I would be flying, I would think I would do something really cool, I would watch the footage, and it wasn't what my mind envisioned. So by watching the footage, I could close the gap between what I envisioned and what I actually ended up doing. Now, if you're a beginner using video stabilization, it's going to be a lot harder for you to see the mistakes you're making and to make those adjustments. So really, the only thing you're hurting is your improvement if you're using video stabilization. So yes, it'll make your videos look better for now, but in the long run, you could have a lot better videos in the future if you just turned off video stabilization, watched your footage, and tried to learn from it. So those are basically my opinions on video stabilization, and to maybe help you understand my views a little bit better, I'm gonna make an analogy. And that is, stabilization, in my mind, is like auto-tune for vocalists. So if all you care about is just hitting the right notes, then sure, use auto-tune or use video stabilization, because that's gonna give you the objectively better product. However, if you care about that more artistic and emotional aspect of singing and you want to impart emotion on your audience, then using auto-tune will strip away a lot of that emotion. And if you ever heard a very heavily auto-tuned song, it sounds totally unnatural and it's not gonna have any emotion at all. So that's kind of how I feel about video stabilization for freestyle. It just kind of strips out all of that emotion and all that art. So those are my opinions on digital video stabilization for flight footage. Feel free to disagree with me down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to help support the channel, just click that subscribe button. It's super easy. Or you can go support me on Patreon as well. If you can't get enough of me here on YouTube, I have an Instagram page, timmy.r.c. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching.